Hi, we all must have received automated phone calls from companies selling us something or reminding us to pay the bill. The voice agents powering these were programmed to follow rigid scripts and respond only to a limited command set, often leading to frustrating customer experience. They can't manage complex queries or understand human emotions very well, and they sometimes don't even listen to the customers properly. But imagine an advanced conversational AI that engages in more natural and intuitive dialogues with the users. They can detect nuances in the speech, interpret varying accents, and even recognize and adapt to individual user preferences over time. This can make each interaction more personalized and effective. One of my core areas of work has been to understand and build models that can be used to create such AI conversational partners and agents. Now, a very naive way to create the system would be to stitch together multiple models. First, we'll have a speech to text model to translate the voice into text using ASR models like OpenAI's Whisper. Second, we'll feed this text into a language model like Llama or GPT-4 to get it to plan a reply and return the text. Finally, we'll convert this text back to speech using TTS models and send that audio back to the customer. Up until now, there has been major advancements in all of these three individual model types. But this system has a lot of drawbacks. For one, when generating text using ASR models, a lot of the nuances of the audio are lost. We can't capture emotions, pauses, or voice that don't have any words properly in text. Take for example two people coughing. We can't explain that really well in text. Or maybe take the sound of construction nearby. That is also really tough to explain in text. So ASR models like Whisper misses on them. Second, integrating all of these models is a huge challenge. And now with the focus on latency, it has become even more challenging to get a reply within an acceptable limits from all these three models. Finally, managing pauses and interruptions are a tough problem in this design. Currently, if these systems detect an interruption, they either shut down completely or don't reply to that interruption. But recently, we have seen advancements that enable us to get away with the stitching and use a truly multimodal language model that can take audio and text as both input and output, something like ChatGPT 4o that you must have seen. Today, we will discuss the first step of this new paradigm. I want to start with the motivation of why having a single model is a good idea for such a system. Imagine if we have a singular model that can take in both audio and text as input. We are implying that the model can understand the concept in both of these modalities. We can also leverage the text in a world that cannot be expressed as a text, what we discussed earlier. For example, consider describing a language model in text of what a house construction sounds like versus sending the audio of that sound to it to understand it properly. Or consider describing a language model the difference between the sound of an engine that is not working as expected versus just making the model hear the sound of that engine. We can interleave text and audio data together and use a single model to get the response. For example, we can just send the model, hey, tell me which bird is this, and insert the audio of the bird and let the model reply by the name of the bird or ask it to sing a happy birthday song in the voice of your favorite cartoon character. The possibilities are endless. The first step to get a transformer-based language model to accept audio as input and output audio is the tokenization of audio. You might have heard about how text is tokenized before sending it to a transformer model. Similarly, we need to tokenize audio before sending it to a language model. However, the tokenization of audio is different from the tokenization of text. For one, audio is an analog signal. It is not discrete that we can cut in between easily and tokenize. Secondly, the audio of the same content can be vastly different depending on the speaker. Finally, the text modality is far more information dense than audio, which makes the input length much larger for audio. For example, a single second of audio, when represented in numbers, has 16,000 of them, while we can probably speak 2 words which might be corresponding to 4 tokens. Due to these challenges, the audio is tokenized using 2 different methods. One, which captures how the words are read, and the other one which captures how the words are spoken. The first one are acoustic tokens, which are created with the intent of audio compression. They preserve speaker traits, prosodic features, and phonetic information from the audio. For example, if I say a word versus someone else saying that same word, the tokenization method will preserve the information about my voice versus their voice. Some of the famous acoustic tokens are SoundStream by Google and Encodec by Facebook. The second kind of tokens are semantic tokens. They are created in such a way that they preserve how the words are read, and it is also possible to do long-term modeling over them, for which the transformers are famous. Let's take an example. If I say privacy versus you say privacy, the information about how it is read will be preserved by this tokenization method. Some of the famous semantic tokenizers are Hubert and Wave2Vec-BERT. In both of these tokenizers, we take out the embedding from one of the middle layers and discretize them into tokens. Here, what I mean is that we have a finite set of embeddings as tokens called as codebook, and every embedding from the middle layer is assigned the closest embedding from this codebook. Codebook is also trained while training the above tokenizers. Both of these tokens are used at different places in the audio language model that we discussed earlier. Tokenization of audio is first of the many steps for creating an audio language model. We look forward to discussing these in the next episode.